right. Guys, thank you so much for joining us again on Full Circle with Joyce. I'm here with my guest, Felix Anditi, who's an independent candidate for the Kibra MP seat. And we were just looking at some current affairs, but now we want to dive into our main discussion and our viewpoint segment, which today is on money and politics, right? And so the relationship between money, big money, and politics is worth considering in Kenya. And I know it happens everywhere else in the world. You know, even in the US governments, they have people who sort of fund and sponsor their campaigns. But in Kenya, it just seems to be at the extreme of the spectrum, right? So does money rule? Because we hear, you know, when people, they'll support your campaign and then there's certain interests that they want to see provided and brought to light. So does money rule, or is it the person that we've chosen or hope to have chosen? Are they actually leading or are they just politicking and trying to serve the interest of whoever provided the money for them to run their campaign? So money and politics in Kenya, huge discussion. That said, politics needs money, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
It
does.
needs a lot of it.
It does.
Tell me about it, Felix.
Thank you. Money and politics is a huge issue.
Yeah.
And I will start it this way. It was not supposed to be money and politics. It was supposed to be politics and economy. Because economy is about money. Politics is supposed to coming up with policies and regulations and guidelines and strategies that will enrich the economy of a nation, the economy of a place, and of everyone, the GDP of a nation. Like in Kenya, our economy is dwindling. So, but we have changed it the other way, the other side up, that now money and politics means how much money I get when I am in politics. And that determines how much money I use money to get money. So campaigns are becoming very expensive because the more money they use, the more money they get. It still comes back to personal interest. And you see, this money, an individual does not have them. The sponsors that come in, they say that politics is a way of getting money from sponsors and votes from the poor, and you promise to protect all of them from the other.
Right.
So as many people come to support you, they come with their interest and they come with their monies.
Yeah.
So these monies, we will use them to do campaigns. After the campaigns, we will serve the interest of these people, including getting money for ourselves.
Right.
And we are forgetting that we need to work for everybody, a bigger population that did not even give you a shilling. So,
yeah. And there's actually an old saying that says, "He who controls the country's wealth controls its politics." Is there any truth behind that?
that is a perception. It ought not to be so. Unfortunately, it is so. Because a nation is like a family. You know, and we cannot judge a family by how much money we have. Unfortunately, that's what happens.
Right.
Even in meetings, family meetings, the people who have say are the people with a lot of money. It ought not to be so.
Right.
So it's an assumption that he who controls the wealth of a nation controls the politics and their power. It should not be so, because especially for a developing country, for an established country, it would be a fight of who is who. That's okay. But for a development country, of whose priorities are the health of the citizens. Are you getting that? The education, the literacy levels of the citizens, the security of the citizens, not the prestige of a few. Like we see in the West there. You see Putin doing his things, Trump doing his things, the Eastern people doing their things because they want to see who is who in the world. So when we come to a developing country, there are better priorities than money. And that's why our leaders have missed it big time when they think that politics is about money and money is about politics. And I wish we were able to find a way to eliminate the big monies in politics right now, especially in Kenya and African nations, because we are still getting colonized this way. These big monies come from outside. And that's why for you to be a president in this nation and in African nation, in the developing nation, you need to get endorsements from UN, from European Union.
Are you saying they get money from those organizations?
Absolutely. From those nations.
Is that something you can verify?
Absolutely. That is in black and white. If somebody would be sponsored by China, somebody is sponsored by US, somebody is sponsored by someone else. And when those people pump in their monies, their resources, the interest of the people, of these politicians, number one will be to them.
To them.
So that's why you find the economy of Kenya is not even in the hands of Kenyans. It's not.
So how do we get ourselves out of this? How does a small guy,
Yes.
the underdog, how does he come out in this race? How does he come up on top? Because as we're seeing guzzlers, tunaona hizo magari kubwa zimepakwa rangi poa. They are setting up huge event venues, right? They are bringing on, it's like a concert, mara,
Yes.
it's a campaign.
Yes.
How does the small guy, how does the not the small guy, let's call him the underdog.
Yes.
How does he
The
shine?
common-
How
the
does he
common
come out
person.
when he doesn't have all these organizations behind him and he doesn't have, rich billionaire friends?
Yeah. I think that's where God comes in also. Because now we need leaders, politicians who are leaders, who know what it is means to serve the people.
Talk to me about that. You're making a very strong distinction between politicians and leaders.
Yes. Because being a politics is just a way of serving people. Is a way of serving people. But now leadership is the thing. You cannot be, if you're a politician and you're not a leader, you're a mess. But if you're a leader, a politician who's a leader, you will bring things to place. Like, for example, what you're saying, what it needs a leader with a strong vision and a strong purpose. And things are changing. The population must be tired. And people have realized that these big things, the guzzlers and the monies and all that, does not help them.
Right.
And I can attest, because I am doing campaigns in Kibra. When you go down there, those people ask you, how will you help us? When you give them satisfactory answer, they sincerely promise you their vote. So as much as those things are there, it is like this flashy lifestyle, which is not like, for example, kama unakatia dem, unaona, unaenda na vitu, umehaya gari, vitu ka hizo, hata loan, umepeleka coast na ndege. By the time unampeleka pengine kuishi pale Kibera, sata kuacha. So the marriage that will last, ni ile umemleta, umembaye kama ni chai ile kahawa mnazoea, amekujua and all that.
Yeah.
So she's taking you for who you are.
Yeah.
And Kenya is reaching that.
Yeah.
That's why we find leaders that are being elected with no background, with no fame, with no resources.
Sure.
So there is hope.
Yeah.
Because the electorate are getting wise. Okay. They know what they want.
Okay.
The money they will eat because they want it.
Yeah.
And that
but they know for themselves.
Yes,
what they
but
want.
they know what they want. If they don't get it, they will still be longing for it. And that's why if you look around, some of these things, and I'll be open to say this, handshake was good, but not everybody embraced handshake.
Sure.
BBI, I know there's good intention. Not everybody embracing it. So what does people want? There is something that Kenyans want. And that thing, whether, some ladies are not married because the right man has not come. Others may come, and of course they may date, does not mean they will fall with this person. Yes. And that's why now we need to keep urging that the leaders, people with this burden to take this nation to another level, should not just make noise, but also, fold their sleeves and do activities. Even organizations, we don't need to swim the ways of these people, because organizations also get funded, so that whatever activities they do, they narrow down to the interest of the big fishes. But we need to have accountable organizations, accountable media stations, accountable leaders that will choose to be judged by how much they have served the people. And serving people is serving God.
All right, Felix, I hear you. Accountability, absolutely key.
Yes.
And you're saying we need to focus on leadership and not just politics.
Very true.
Right. And so with that said, then there is hope for a new crop of voters in Kenya that are tired of what the status quo has been.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Kamau Gitari wa Tumaini on Facebook, you say siasa za Kenya bila pesa ni kama gurudumu la gari bila pumzi. Ni ngumu sana kufaulu. But as we hear, this story is changing. And you're right, there are examples of people who've literally come out of nowhere.
Very true.
and taken the seat. Ruthie Nzula says, my friend Felix, I wish you well.
Thank
You know, as you were speaking of marriage, I was chuckling because Mary Shicks here on Facebook. I feel like you need to show people your wedding ring.
It's it's
Mary Shicks. Mary Shicks is like, tell him ajipe nguvu, akiluza nitafute niko single. Walalalalala, dada. The guy is very married. But thank you, Felix, for coming through. All the best to you this week particularly, and we do appreciate your time.
No, thank you so much.
Asante.
Asante.
Asante. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break right now as we get ready for our lifestyle discussion that's coming to you at the top of the hour. And today, of course, we look at all sorts of issues around personal development. And so lots for you to be tuned for, including how to turn your passion into income. Stay tuned. This is Full Circle with Joyce.